What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Minding My Creative Business podcast. I am your host, ShySpeaks.
And I am your host, Ron, ironically, Jr.
And this is the #1 podcast for creative entrepreneurs to learn strategy, structure, and self-development all in one place. And this is season 2, whereby we are live in studio again. They enjoying these episodes. I really do myself.
I am. I'm enjoying them as well. Like to be here face to face, being able to kind of chop it up and have our discussions in person opposed to, on the screen.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, so here's the thing. Today we talked about being the #1 podcast so far. I just said that's the #1 podcast for strategy, structure, and here's the part, self-development. Because self-development actually is one of the most critical components to becoming a 6, 7, or even 8-figure entrepreneur. I say that because in season 1, we actually interviewed a couple of guests, and most of them, there are some like mindset, psychology differences that they have that I would say some of the non-6 to 7, 8-figure creative entrepreneurs that I know, they don't possess those things. And so we want to talk about what it takes, right? What do you have to do in order to become, like what type of development things need to happen with you to move from just a creative to a creative entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, Ron.
Let's talk about it. So who do you have to become, right? So one of the things that I've noticed with all of them, right, and this even, as me and you interact and engage with one another, is the #1 thing that I see is vision, right? They have to have a vision and see themselves being this creativepreneur. They have to see themselves in business, not just creative. So I think us seeing ourselves as a creative, that's easy. It comes natural for us. It's like the air we breathe.
Right.
But to actually see yourself in the business space, see yourself doing things on the business end and learning about the business end, that once again doesn't come natural for you. It's something that you have to put a little bit of energy and work into, but just having a vision for, okay, what do I want this creative enterprise to actually look like?
Right. And one of the things that I noticed when I talked to the ones we interviewed in season 1 and some of the people who I know in person who we've not had a chance to interview is that's built out of desire. The desire to turn my creativity from just being monetized to a side hustle. I need to turn it from a side hustle into more money because I got kids, or I'm getting older, or I don't want to work a particular job that's not going to allow me to be as creative as I want to be. So how can I make this thing full time?
Exactly.
That desire has to be, first of all, stirred up within you. And then once you have the desire, that's cool to just have the desire. Then you get into the point of, okay, what does that look like? Yep. What's the vision of that?
Yeah.
And you don't stumble upon vision.
No.
It's intentional.
It has to be intentional. So a few years back, that was my word for the year, was being intentional. Because it's like the great things that you want to accomplish, it doesn't just happen. Like you said, you just don't stumble across it.
Yeah.
You have to be very intentional. So it has to be, okay, this is what I want based off my desire. And based off what I want, this is where I'm going based off of your vision. So let me be intentional about the things that I do, and let me be intentional about the things that I don't do. Because if it's not helping me to get closer to my vision, then why am I doing it?
Right. Man, so we've already given 2 tools to actually that you have to develop within yourself to become this successful creative entrepreneur. And that's vision and intention. I just want to, almost as if I'm interviewing you for a second, when you're coaching other creative clients or movers, shakers, artists, whatever they are, what's something you do to help them be develop vision? They know they want to make money and they have the desire and they have the skill. How do you help them start getting vision? What does that even mean?
Right.
What do you do?
So one of the things I do, right, is I ask them about, it's almost like, because vision is the future, right? It's not what you see currently, right? Not what's in front of you. So it's the future. What do you want your life to look like, right? What do you want? So if it was, everything was ideal, right? Money wasn't a thing, what would the ideal life look like? So then they start to kind of map that out. Okay, cool. This is to be this, right? Now, then I ask them, okay, that's what you want it to look like. Now, how can you use your creative skill set, your creative ability to get there. Right. So then they start to kind of think about that. So I actually break it down into passion, right? What are you passionate about, right? So I have them kind of make a list of things that they're passionate about. Then what are you skillful at? Have them make a list of what they're skillful at. And then what is a need, right? What is something to where you can look and see that, oh, people need this, or this is something that can support people. And then when I do it, it's like these little circles, almost like the Olympics, right? You see the little circles and there's overlap. So where the 3 circles overlap, right? That's that vision, right?
That's the sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot, right? So because when you list out that passion, you list out that skill set, you list out that need, there's going to be repeats on those, right? And that's kind of where it starts from. So then once you can identify that, that's it. Then we start doing that future pacing. Okay, for you to lean into that, let's talk about the feels. Let's talk about the desires. Let's talk about these things. And that helps them to start creating that vision.
Wow. So if you are watching this right now and you're like, okay, I already have vision, I already have this thing going in this other creative endeavor, but I have this other thing that I want to do, and you almost treat it like you're starting fresh, and you're getting vision for that thing, ask yourself, what would my day look like? When you say, what will my life look like? I want to say, what will my day look like? That's easier. In an ideal world, what would you get? What time would you get up?
Yep.
What time would you start working? What time would you stop working? And what would you be working on in between time? Exactly. Like in that time of working, what projects would you be working on? What would work look like that would be invigorating for you, that would be passionate for you, that you would feel like, man, this is great? And about how much money would you be making from doing that type of thing?
Yeah.
That's when we say your life, start with your day. Yeah. And then we can then get into what he said, future pacing. You know, future pacing, he a real coach. Like that is, we're going to pace that future out, and then we're going to be intentional about what we're doing to make sure that it's serving that vision. Yeah. All right, so that's good. Yeah. Moving right along, right? Okay, so they got this part where they have the vision. They're starting to be intentional about the actions that they're taking in the present so that it can serve a future that puts them closer towards that vision. What do they need to do from there?
You got to be consistent. So it's one thing to have a vision. It's one thing to be intentional about the steps and the things that you're doing. Yeah. But if you're not consistent, you can't expect to get results.
Ooh.
And listen, we're both creatives, right? And we know that creatives in general struggle with consistency when it comes to certain things. It's certain things when it comes to creating. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a creative struggle with consistency in creating.
Unless they have like block. I'm having creatives block. But other than that, they're gonna just create because that's just what they're gonna do.
But when it comes to that business though, when it comes to that business, because I don't feel like, I don't want to. So you have to be consistent despite how you feel. You have to be consistent despite what the perception may be, right? You get like you gotta be consistent.
Perception may be okay. We gotta talk about that. This is not in the notes to talk about, but we gotta talk about being consistent. Let's say you sat down with a mentor, you sat down with an advisor, you sat down with a friend, you sat down with a coach. Y'all came up with a vision. You came up with how you're gonna be intentional. You start doing it. You don't want to be consistent because it's like I don't feel like it. But now you move past feelings and you're like I'm doing it. But then there's this other thing that you have to do if you want to be successful. You have to move past caring about what people are gonna think. You said the perception of it. What is it gonna look like if I just keep being consistent on this? Well, it's gonna seem like I'm being salesy, or it's gonna seem like I'm overdoing it, or it's gonna seem like I'm being too much, or it's gonna seem like I'm distracted from talking about this, or it's gonna seem like, listen, it doesn't matter what it's gonna seem like because you sat down, you got clear on your vision, you said you were gonna be intentional, you done started doing it, you might as well go ahead and stay consistent. But you have to stop caring about how it's gonna be perceived, because I'm not saying don't care about how it's going to be perceived at all, because at the end of the day, we're serving people and you're serving clients. But as long as that perception is happening and it's actually reaching the target market that it's supposed to reach, you're helping the people who you're supposed to help, who cares about how consistent is it? Am I posting too much? Am I sending too many emails? Am I following up too many times? Am I calling them? Whatever it is that the thing that you're going to have to do to be consistent, you can't worry about like. And sometimes we're not even worried about offending our clients and our customers. Really, we're concerned about people who not
Right. Our peers, our family, people that, like I said, that's not our ideal customer or client. And like you said, you got to get past that because they're not buying from you. No way.
They're not.
I don't care if somebody that's not my customer or client don't like what I'm doing.
Yeah, they like, all you do is talk about that.
Oh, well.
Because somebody who want to hear about that, want to hear somebody always talk about that.
Right.
So again, it's not caring about the perception, but you making sure you're caring about the perception and the opinions of people who matter. Yeah. So I had to stop right there.
No, listen, I ain't mad at you.
You cannot
that's
be
real.
successful. You really can't. One of my friends told me that. She was like, sis, I realized that a part of the reason why I'm not successful or as successful as I want to be as a creative is because I care too much about what people think. And she said she felt like God was actually trying to break that off of her of being too concerned, like I guess delivering her from people to the point where it's like I can't even help the people who I'm supposed to help because I'm worried about what the other people going to think, right? And so you got to, I know that for a fact. Like, who cares what people are going to think? Like, who care? Like, if they're not the ones that really matter, then they don't matter.
They don't.
Okay, another reason why people are unsuccessful in trying to push a creative idea or an endeavor into actually a creative enterprise is because they're afraid to take risk. Exactly. Risk taking.
Exactly.
You gotta embrace that. Like,
got to.
Ooh, and that one is easier said than done. I will be honest and say that, right? It's way easier said than done. Bro, you got a risk-taking, I got a risk-taking story. You know what I mean?
No, listen, you share yours first and I share mine, but
okay,
no, definitely.
Let me be brief. I knew that I wanted to have an event, right? I started with an event, and I said I want the event to be called Civilized, and I wanted it to be a drive-in concert and conversation, and it was during, like, the pandemic time frame, and people weren't going to events like that, but if you gather in your car, as many people can gather as possible. We're going to have it dialed in where they can be on the radio. They can listen to the car. They'll see the stage. They'll see the backdrop. All of that's going to be really cool. And it's going to be like a 3 to 4 hour event. We're going to have concerts, conversations, food, this, that, and the third. I had so much faith in doing a 3-hour event. After the event, it went successful. And one of the people who were the sponsors for it said, oh, man, I can see you doing so much more with that. Like, have you ever considered doing a full, like, 1-day festival? I have, but not right now.
Right.
I'm thinking about, and so it's a risk because what if I try to do this? I know how to program a 2-hour event, a 3-hour event. To program enough content for an entire day, I think we sleep on event planners. Shout out to the creative entrepreneurs who are event planners, because if you keep people's attention all day and keep them engaged and making sure it's enriching them and it's doing what it's supposed to do, that takes something. So I'm like, man, number one, I'm going to risk, am I going to, like, my creativity and my organization skills, can I do it? But the second thing is, this is about to cost way more money than a 3-hour event. If I rent a venue for a couple of hours, it costs one thing. But if I need to rent it for a full day festival, I'm probably going to need the venue the night before so we can load in, sound checks, all these type of things. So I'm going to actually spend way more money on this. But I have the potential of reaching and impacting way more people. So what's on the other side, what's standing in between me reaching more people and having more impact is a risk.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I took it, though.
Yeah, I know you did. No, because like you said, that's a part of the characteristics of being a creativepreneur, is being able to take those risks. Yeah. Right. And listen, I've had so many, right? I'm just kind of thinking over the years and just me coming into this space really. I think for me, my first client was really me taking a risk because I didn't have I had a proven framework, right? But I didn't know what it was. It was just me just sharing just my information, my knowledge that I've accumulated for over, 20 years of me doing what I do, right? But it was like now somebody's willing to pay me money for it. It was just like when it was, I had to tell you, like, hold on, wait a minute, hold on. Like, there's no risk if I'm just sharing information from like a mentor standpoint. Ain't no risk. But now you paying me, and so now you're expecting something from me.
And if I can't deliver on the result, if you don't, how do I know this person is going to get results? So now I have to. You took a risk on yourself.
I took a risk on myself, right? But once again, it something clicked, right? And actually going out, so I took this couple out to lunch, and they said they learned more from me in that lunch than they had learned the entire 4 or 5 years that they had been doing music. They had managers and other people that they was, working with them before, but they was like, we learned more from you in that lunch setting. So that was kind of like, okay, no, I can do this.
I can do this.
Let me go ahead and do this because I have value.
We'll be right back after these messages. You're now tuning in to the Minding My Creative Business podcast.
What's the irony?
It's because it's us in different color clothing. I mean, listen, we've been doing a lot of talking, and we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to make a statement as well.
Because we've seen people make statements with their athletic apparel. We've even seen people make statements as entrepreneurs. But one thing I haven't seen is somebody make a statement as a creative entrepreneur. So what we've done is we have given you an opportunity to make a statement as a creative entrepreneur.
Okay. So if they want to make sure that they're rocking that creativepreneur gear, where can they go get that?
You can go get that gear from whatstheirony.com.
Right, I have value to add, and I know that if they do the things that I'm encouraging them to do and teaching them to do, I know this is going to benefit them. I know for a fact. So
wow, what this is making me think about is oftentimes on this podcast we talk about strategy and structure. We talk about pricing strategies, revenue structure, expanding your product suite, launching out and offering new services. And while that's cool on the mathematical tip to add more funding into your business, I never really thought about how much of a risk it is, like, that you have to take in order to feel like I can add this extra service on, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. It's a bit of a risk sometimes to, like, we're now about to let everybody know we offer this new thing, like, and hopefully we can deliver on it, right?
Yeah.
And so it is a risk to expand.
Even the fact that, so me and you both employ people, right? That there is risky because it's like at the end of the day, when it comes to stuff, we eat last. I make sure my people eat, right? So that's risky.
It is risky.
That's risky.
Like, here's the thing. I talked about the risk that I took earlier. This is like we were talking about like $100,000 worth of risk,
right?
And then there's like several people who have to be paid.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a venue that's $20,000. There's artists that are getting paid tens and $15,000. Like, I'm going to have to make sure I can pay all these people. And I'm saying, yeah, I'm going to be able to do it, right? And so you'll never get to the point where you're paying people hundreds of thousands. Because I want to be able to say, I owe somebody $100,000 salary.
Yeah.
You'll never get that if you can't take the $10,000 risk. If you can't take a $5,000, $100, man, there's a project that I have I'm producing. This is Ron. Ron is producing a project. Somebody's going to pay you $3,500. And I need to be able to, like, pay a couple of people $500 and know that we're going to get the money. We're going to do the deliverable. You got to get to there before you can get to the 1,000. You got to get to the 1,000 before you can get to the 10.
Right.
You got to get to the 10,000 before you get to the $100,000. And so you have this vision of you being able to be a millionaire, but you're going to have to be taking risk along the way so you can build up that tenacity within yourself that says, yeah, let's go for the next thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm telling you, it sounds good, but it's different.
It's
All
different.
right. So another thing that we feel that needs to happen when we're talking about developing as a creative into a creative entrepreneur with a creative enterprise that's starting to hit that 6, 7, and we're talking about 8-figure amounts. When we say 8 figures, that's okay. Y'all can count, right? That's some figures. You have to actually have this thing called curiosity.
Definitely.
Why are we saying that?
Because you, as a creativepreneur, as an entrepreneur, you're a problem solver, right? So me solving problems, I don't have all the answers all the time, right? So I have to go seek and find the answers. So I have to keep this level of curiosity, like, I don't know how to do this, but let me find out how to do this. Who can I find that knows how to do this, right? I love that who, not how approach, because sometimes we try to figure out how, but sometimes we need to find the who. Right. But once again, still that curiosity, you always asking questions. Right. I think I ask more questions in entrepreneurship than I ask in any other endeavor outside of maybe my relationship. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a relationship I'm asking, but entrepreneurship is a relationship with business.
Yeah. And other people.
With other people. So you constantly asking questions and staying curious because I want to know.
How?
Yeah.
And then we're talking to creatives. When we think about anything that has ever been invented, inventions only come out of curiosity.
Facts.
Sometimes, I mean, it comes out of there's a problem that I want to solve, but then that person says, I wonder what it would be like if we were able to fill in the blank, right? So invention in and of itself is only housed out of the idea of, or the wheelhouse of, curiosity and innovation.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to have that. So maybe you're doing business a certain way. If you stay curious, you can invent an entire business model. We talked about that in season 1 with the Ferris family. They were curious of like, the husband was like, man, how can I get it to the point where we're keeping our consistency the same with our photography and our videography business, but at the same time, I wonder if there's a way, and he was curious, and he wound up developing. Most people who have photography and videography can't see themselves having an agency, but he figured out a way to have an agency model, still deliver on the same quality that he would deliver if he had it done it himself, but that only came out of curiosity. So, I mean, curiosity is very, very key to developing something new or inventing something new, right? Or innovating what you already have. One story right here. A friend of mine says that she used to work in the apartment industry, and in the apartment industry, there came the whole valet services where people, you don't have to take your trash to the dumpster. All you gotta do is leave it right there by the door in the apartments, and somebody will come by, take your trash out for you. That's like an entire industry now. People go get contracts with apartments to do valet services in luxury apartments, or not even luxury apartments. But you know where that came from? A guy was curious. He saw a woman. She had a baby and another little baby, and she was taking the trash out by herself, and trying to lug the kids around with her, because I got to take this trash out, but I can't. They're too little to stay in the house by themselves, and the trash was far. And he saw her. He said, "Ma'am, it's okay. I got you." Right. And he grabbed the trash. He said, "Y'all go back. I'll take it for you." Another day happened. He saw her with the trash, and he was like, I can't see you trying to tote the babies and tote the trash. He said, I got you. Let me take it for you. He then told her, he said, you know what? Start doing this. He said, every day I'm going to take my trash out. I'm going to walk by your place. Just leave your trash right by your, I'm going to walk by my apartment to the dumpster. On my way, I'm going to just, I don't even want to see you out here struggling with the trash. He said, he said, leave it right there by your door. He said, I'm going to come by and I'm going to pick it up and take mine out. So she never had to worry about her trash sitting by her door too long, because every day he's going to walk by and do it. And then curiosity kicked in. He was doing it for this lady for so long, and he said to himself, I'll do that for her for free because I just want to help this lady. But I'm pretty sure other people could need help. He said, I wonder if other people set their trash out would be willing to do it for like a pay, just for the convenience. So he said, no, I wonder if the apartment community would build into the fee a little pricing model, like $1 per door. Right. Maybe this is a 2,000 door or 200 door, like whatever. He's like, what would they, $5 per door or whatever per month? So people are willing to pay $5 a month for valet trash. Wow. And now they're not having to pay him directly. He said, I wonder if the apartments could tack it on to the rent. Yeah. Of the people who want valet trash, and I'll go by there, pick it up. And now you see what I'm saying? Just because he was curious, I wonder if the apartments could build this into their subscription model, which is what apartment rent is, a regular monthly. You know what I'm saying? No, and he was curious enough. And now he went to the apartments. Obviously, they said yes. And then they launched the valet trash, and then eventually became mandatory for the entire community. And it's just built into the model. And so he's getting $5 per door every month, over and over. And all he has to do is just walk around. He got a bin. He started throwing the stuff in the bin, rolling around. Now you got people pull up in cars. I mean, it's a whole industry now. But it all is birthed out of curiosity. I just want you to say, I'm telling you, curiosity matters.
Yeah. No, that's... Ooh, no, that's...
You didn't even know about that, did you? See, you learn something new every day.
Asking questions. Yeah. That's all you're doing. You're asking, I wonder if.
Yeah. Now, okay, so that's the optimistic side of things. But there is another aspect of self-development that has to happen as creative entrepreneurs that is not what you would consider... It's actually an optimistic thing, but it's not... Most people won't think of it in that way, because you have to have resilience.
Definitely.
And I say that because resilience means that you're you're being tried or you're going through something. Things may be tough, but you have this ability to continue to endure through it and do it in such an excellent and brilliant way that it makes it seem like you're not enduring, right? So resilience matters. So you got something you want to talk about?
Yeah, no. A lot of times when we talk about resilience, I tell people what helps you keep going, right? Is having a strong why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing, right? And in order for you to have that why, that's like your fuel, right? And that resilience, because you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to quit. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
but there's been several times this year. This is what, 2024.
Yeah.
I've already been like, okay, I'm done with this.
Okay, I'm about to quit. Okay, so here's the thing. Why are you going to want to quit? Okay, if I got vision and it's intention and it's my passion, it's going so great, it's because you're going to be taking risk. And sometimes when you take the risk, it doesn't always work out.
Exactly. It's not easy.
And it doesn't work out. That risk didn't work out, but that doesn't mean the whole thing is over.
Exactly.
But you can be like, man, I don't. I took a loss on that, and I don't want to take another loss.
Exactly.
You may not take another loss. You may actually win on the next go round, but you got to stay in the game to find out. But that's where you want to like, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out. And like I said, I tell people this is fulfilling work, but sometimes it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard work.
Right.
It's hard work. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, but it's times where it's difficult.
Man, we talked about this in season 1, the difficulty and the resilience that we require to even have this podcast. We're in season 2. Season 1 was rough.
Yeah. Now, what was the statistics? They don't get past episode 6, was it?
Most
The average podcast
does not get past 6 episodes.
Yeah.
That means after 6 episodes, they say, I'm out. No resilience. No, I'm kidding. I mean, it could just be like, listen, they can't, depending on the circumstances of their life, in their lives, they can't afford to take another L, or they can't a setback or a delay, and it's just frustrating. I'm already frustrated over here. I don't need to be frustrated over here. I need a business where I'm alive over here because I'm sad over here. And so some people, for various reasons, just can't push through, but you're going to need to have resilience, right? We would not be here in studio live if we did not have resilience. That's 100% a fact. I remember we were doing one episode, and it's something about it kept messing up. It was either the audio or the video or something. I want to say we recorded one episode. It's like, take number 3. We recorded almost like a 45-minute.
It was 3 to 4 times we recorded that episode. That was episode 1.
Now we could have quit right then and there, right? So, but we stayed resilient on it, just because we just didn't want to be statistics. That was it. Listen, as long as we get past 6, if we can get to 7 or 8, we did it.
Yeah, exactly.
But now here we are in season 2. So yeah. All right, so we want to make this one a shorter podcast than we normally do. So we're kind of speeding through some of the things that we feel like you need for self-development. You got vision, intention, consistency. You have risk-taking, curiosity, resilience, and then we're going to leave you with one more before we wrap it up.
Confidence. Like you got to have confidence in this thing. You have to have confidence in your skills and ability. You have to have confidence in your product, that what I'm providing to the community, this is good, right? Mm-hmm. You have to have that confidence, because if you don't, you're going back to something, you're going to flail. You're going to get tired. You're going to know, you got to know say it with your chest. Like, listen, I am Ronald Gregory Lee Jr. I am a creative business strategist, and I know my stuff.
And I get results. Listen. And you have that confidence. Yeah. And if you do not have the confidence, that's going to come across when you're trying to go B2C, which is business to consumers. Yeah. People can tell you're not confident. I mean, I may be able to do your wedding properly with my videography. I mean, you want me to do a painting? I may be able to get it done. I mean, we'll see what we can do. Yeah. No, they want you to know, oh, yeah, for sure, without a shadow of it. What do you want? Oh, yeah, we got that.
We got that.
That makes people feel confident to go ahead and patronize with you. It's gonna bleed through when you're going business to business and you're trying to maybe partner with another brand or something like that. People are gonna be like, I don't know. Yeah. The business is gonna like, you're not really confident in your brand, and it's shining through. No, and we can tell.
No,
right?
Listen, when I charge, when I upped my prices, right, the first couple times I was a little hesitant, I wasn't as confident with that price a little bit, just because I wasn't confident it wasn't my confidence. I was confident in myself, but I was like, oh, that's a little bit much. And when I presented it, they was like, okay, we'll get back to you. I ain't heard back from them. But once I developed that confidence, it was like, no, this is what it is. This is what it costs, right? Once again, they feed off that.
Yeah.
So they ain't better than I. Oh, that's what you, oh, cool.
Oh, that's what it is?
So that confidence is key.
It
that confidence
is.
key.
I have this one poem that I said when I very first started doing artistry professionally. I said, I rhyme for a reason. I rhyme in this time because I was designed for this season. You got to know that. I literally, I write and do lyricism for a living, right? Like I write words. Like this is what I make a life off of, speaking and rapping and writing and all that kind of stuff. And so I rhyme for a reason. I rhyme in this time because I was designed for this season. There's something about me is important and it's imperative for right now.
Yeah.
And I have to know that. You have to know that. What we're doing right now is with our business, with our creative enterprise is necessary.
Yeah.
Man, people need this. I feel confident about the Minding My Creative Business podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That's the reason why we didn't quit, because I know that there's somebody who needs to hear from another 6, 7, or 8-figure business owner on the strategies that they're employed.
Yes.
They need to know what the structure is. They need to know about self-development, because that's going to help unlock them. And I'm confident that what we present, you and I, or if we're interviewing a guest, is so valuable to people.
No, I ain't got to say nothing else. That's it.
That's what it is.
That's
well,
what it
listen,
is.
we wanted this one to be short, but we felt like leaning in just a little bit. Hopefully you have gotten some out of this. Go back and listen to it again and find one of those tips that you're going to start employing this day, this week, this month, this year, really all of them this year, right? And so, listen, we want to thank you as always for tuning in to the episode. Thank you for listening in, and we're thanking you in advance for going out there and developing that creative enterprise. You're going to come back and be like, I used to listen to the MMCB podcast, and we're like, yeah. So cool. So thank you so much for that. If you have not already, subscribe to our podcast.
Yes. So wherever you listen to it, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe. You Apple, Amazon, wherever you listen, like, subscribe, you know what I'm saying, so that you can get up to date. Like we dropping these episodes weekly. This is season 2, so we got more episodes coming. So subscribe so you can find out what we're doing when we're doing.
Speaking of up to date, you actually want to join our Creatives Corner community. And there, you're going to be updated every time we drop a new podcast. But not just, hey, listen to us talk. We're going to be giving you tips every single month on things that you can use to make sure you're staying on that path of creative entrepreneurship. And when you join the Creatives Corner, it's also a group and a community that you get to be a part of. It's a network of other creative entrepreneurs. It's one thing to be around entrepreneurs, but their businesses may be different from yours. So in this Creatives Corner, you get to be a part of that group, and that is a really cool thing. How do you join the Creatives Corner?
Visit us at mmcbpodcast.com.
mmcbpodcast.com. Man, I always end the episode with a mantra. And so what I want you to do is repeat after me. All it takes
is
strategy, structure, and laser focus to mind my creative business.
Thank you.
Peace.